Okay, Jerry Stringer again with Timber and Beam Workshop. Thanks for stopping by. Today we're going to do something a little different that you probably haven't seen before. We're going to take an ordinary everyday object that you use and to turn it into something that's personalized to make a great gift at not a whole lot of cost. Now, for you folks that don't live in Texas, you probably have no idea what a boot jack is, but in Texas it's a staple. It's something that you have to have in your house, in your room, to help you get your boots on and off every day. Stick with us. We're going to go through the building stage and the engraving stage. Since the boot jack has got some curved areas on it, I like to cut those out with using a template on a router table. It makes the curves more consistent than trying to do it by hand. Also, I'm going to be making several of these at one time, so the template really helps for doing production work. I make my templates out of 1/4 inch clear acrylic on my laser. It's the only way to go. You're probably thinking, why am I watching this? Because I don't have a laser. I'll tell you that if you're a woodworker and in a group of woodworkers, friends that you know, one of them has got a laser, or maybe more than that, because they're pretty popular now. A lot of people have them. So get with one of your friends and buy the acrylic and buy him lunch or something, and he'll make a template for you. And in fact, if you'll look below in the comments, you'll see the template for this laser is already there in an AI format, so they can just download it and cut it. Don't have to worry about creating anything. It'll be there ready for you at no charge. What I like to do when I cut acrylic is I'll use transfer paper and put over the top. It just kind of keeps the edges from scorching from the heat, and it doesn't have to be fancy. This isn't a precise deal that we're doing that's got to fit together or anything. So the paper doesn't have to be perfectly straight, it just has to be on there. That's ready to go. And get this on the laser. Get it lined up. I've got everything focused, lined up where it needs to be, so if everything works right, pressing that button right there should cut it out. Okay, it's cut. This is the fun part when you pick it up and it comes apart like that. There is a template for making boot jacks that we could use over and over and over again. Let's go see how it works. Okay, we got the template made. We're getting ready to rough cut our boards. And this is cherry, beautiful wood I got from Plywood Company, Fort Worth. And they're my go-to place for getting lumber like this. I'm gonna just rough cut 5 of these at 14¼ inches, and that'll give us something to work with for our template. So it's gonna be a little noisy, and I've got it marked. I wanna make sure I'm using the right mark though. Yeah, that's it right there, okay. Okay, there's our 5 blanks. I'm gonna run them through the planer a little bit, kind of smooth down the surface, and start cutting them out. I've got the tape and the glue ready to go. I think you've seen this on one of the other videos that we've done for using templates. I love this technique. You put a layer of tape down on your project. It's just a regular blue painter's tape. Doesn't have to be pretty. Works better when it doesn't stick together, but just like that. I'm using the other side because that has that other tape on it. So, and you really only have to cover it where you're going to put the glue. I've just got in the habit of trying to cover most of it in case I get too happy putting glue out. That'll work fine. Now the fun part. That's going to go on like that. We're going to glue it together with super glue. And there's a technique for it. You have to use the accelerator to make it lock down pretty much instantly. And I'm going to put it on this because I know that there's a hole here. I don't want to just put it where the hole is, but just put some tape down on it. Doesn't have to be a lot, just like that right there. You take the accelerator, you hit the other side, line it up perfect because you're not going to be able to slide it around. Once it touches, it's there. Push it down like that. It's connected. Ready to go to work. Next step, I'm going to get on the bandsaw, which I did plan ahead and have it ready. And cut off the excess down to about 1/8 of an inch larger so that we can cut the rest of it off on the router table using a pattern bit.
What I'm trying to do is cut about 1/8 of an inch away from the template itself. The rest of it will come off with the pattern bit on the router table. Ready to use the pattern bit, cut it out to the identical shape of the template, and then we go to the next one.
Okay, I've got my pattern bit set up, and what it does, it has a bearing on the top of it that rolls, and it rolls along the edge of the template. And when you get it set just right, it's rolling on that. The bit will cut the exact same size of what the bearing is. So in effect, you end up getting an exact replica of your template. That's why I love using templates so much. It'll be a little noisy. I'm going to have to turn the dust collector on and this on, and it's going to make lots of sawdust. That's all there is to it. Get back over to the table and take the template off. And I have a template removal tool, also known as a putty knife. You find a corner of it, you slide it underneath the template, just like that. Give it a little push where you can get a finger under it. Kind of wants to pinch you, but it's not bad. Work it down. Now you have the perfect, got to start this all over for the next piece. You can't use it over and over again because you got little clumps of glue on it. But when you get all your tape off, your template's as good as new, ready to be used again. I said earlier I make most of my templates out of 1/4 inch acrylic. If I'm going to only use it one time, a lot of times I'll use 1/4 inch melamine, and it works great. If you're going to make a lot of them, it wears over a period of time, so I wouldn't make it if you're going to use a lot of them. I'd use the acrylic. Getting ready to cut the risers that go underneath the boot jack that holds it up. And since I'm going to be doing 5 of these for gifts that somebody had ordered, I'm going to go ahead and cut all of them at one time. It's kind of a production way of doing it. If you look at the plans that are included in the links below, it shows that the 78 degrees, 12 to 78, depending on how you look at it on your saw. But I've set it at 12 degrees, which gives me the little kickover that I need to level everything up. I'm going to cut some of these and then take and cut them on the chop saw to cut them to length. This is 1 3/4 inches from the top of the point to the base of it. So here we go. That should be enough for 5 of them. They should be 4 3/4 inches wide. But what I want to do is I want to drill the holes through here before I cut them, just because I have something larger to hold onto while I'm doing the holes. So let me get that laid out and we'll get the holes drilled. Here's my towel. That one right there. Some of the sawdust off of it so it's not all over me. So the wife complains when you go in the house and bringing sawdust in. Oh well, man glitter. She wears her glitter in her makeup and stuff, and I wear my sawdust. Going the round over bit, gonna do a quick round over the edge, knock the sharp edges off. Did a quick once over sanding. I use 180 grit Norton sandpaper. I get it from Rockler. I like it because it lasts forever. I've heard people say that how you start with 120 and go to 150, 180, 220, 320, 400 and all that. I've tried that and I've done this with 180 only. Lacquered both of them. I can't tell the difference. So 180 and it gets lacquered. I just used rattle can lacquer from Lowe's, and it's expensive. It's like $14 a can. Back in the good old days, I could get it for $8 or $9, but the price has gone up. But For a quick job like this, I'm not going to pull out my big sprayer and mix all the lacquer and put it together. I'm just going to use this and be done with it, and it's a convenience. Your time is worth something. So let me get some lacquer on it, let it dry, and then we'll go to the laser. Okay, we're back, guys. We've got the boot jacks, all the lacquer on them now. They're ready to go, ready to put together. And if you'll notice below, there is a form that's just like this right here that you can print out. It gives you all of the instructions and the sizes and all of that. You're welcome to that, even the cutout for a laser if you want to do that, or the laser to cut your pattern to cut these with. So we're to the point right now, we're ready to put this together. All the holes are drilled. A quick and easy way to line that up where you don't have to sit there and measure all day long. Get you a little speed square, which is your square to the outside edge. It'll run up and down this. You take make sure you don't have it upside down where it's backwards. You'll do that occasionally because you're not thinking exactly what you're doing. But once you get this square, line it up, you can kind of just guess at centering it 1/8 inch on each side. When you get it about where you want to, reach through with an ice pick, reach through and you can mark that spot where the hole has to be drilled. Incidentally, little trivia, this ice pick, if it looks old, it's because this was my mom's ice pick when I was like 8 and 10 years old, which was about 212 years ago, the way I feel sometimes. So anyway, drill the holes. I pre-drill them for the screws. I use regular drywall screws, 1 5/8 inch drywall. And once you get everything drilled, it's a matter of putting a screw in each one of these. And I'm going to get it started with this. I won't sink it all the way with this just because these things have a little more power than you want. Sometimes they can strip out your screws. So I'll get them close. I just barely got them sticking out the bottom so I can set them right there in place where I know where they go. Take a hand screwdriver. It's not that hard to sink that down, just like that. That's put together. That's actually usable right now, but now we have to make it look pretty instead of just a plain old piece of wood. We're getting ready to go to the laser engraver to laser the design that you see on the sheet below. But to laser it, now, and Ron and I argued about this. Ron and I are like we're married. We're not, but we argue about stuff all the time. He said, no, we need to engrave it before we put this on. I said, don't worry about it. I've got a jig. And he said, we still need to do this before we put it on. I went, okay, whatever. Just like you and your wife or you and your husband, you just finally say whatever and just do what you need to do. So I went in and I brought this out and I went, Ron, jig, this is on, works great, engrave it. So he got a little red-faced and kind of like, okay, let's go engrave it. But I won. So anyway, this is a jig that I built for making these. It just sits in like this. It'll go up into the top left corner of the engraver to give me a 0, 0 point when we engrave it. It's level, and so I don't have to worry about trying to hold it up or take it in there like this and lose the parts and whatever. So this is ready to engrave, and we're ready to go. Okay, we've got our boot jack finished. I want to give you a look at it right here. Kind of proud of it. It's made out of cherry wood. It's engraved, and if you'll note, it's got a Texas Department of Public Safety State Trooper badge on it that's personalized for the trooper himself. If you know the trooper that has this badge number, please don't tell him we did this because this is a Christmas present for him from his sergeant. His sergeant's a good friend of mine, and every year he has me do some different things for his troopers. And this year it was going to be boot jacks. And so I said, you absolutely would love to do it. We made it out of cherry wood because it engraves. Cherry is one of the better woods for engraving to get a good dark burn on it. What's great is, whether it's for the troopers or whatever, anytime you can take even an everyday product that you buy and use all the time, if you can personalize it for a person, the perceived value goes out the ceiling, because it gives like, if I'm giving this gift, say to Ron, which would blow Ron's mind if I ever gave him a gift. But anyhow, if I were giving it to Ron and I had his name on it, then that's like a part of me that took the time to do that for Ron. And it means more to get a present that somebody has taken the time to personalize. That's why I love the laser, because you can do this so easy and do it over and over and over again. And so that if you've got a large number of people to do these for, it's easy to do. The other thing about it is you'll see some people that make these, they'll put leather or felt in this part here to not scuff the boot. I've never done that. I could, but I just never have. I've never had any complaints when I've given this to people before. Most of the time here in Texas, our boots are scuffed up to start with because, we're out moving hay or something else, or dealing with cows or horses. And so we don't really worry too much about, scuffing this over. But really, I've never had any problem with that. So you're welcome to do it if you want to cover that up, to make it just a little bit softer. And as I mentioned before, this little handout that you'll see here is down below in the description. It gives you all the dimensions you need to do it. The dimension for making the template right here, we'll actually have it in an AI format. You can download it and use it to cut out your own template to use like we did here. Template's the way to go if you're going to be doing multiple pieces and you need them all the same. If you follow this, you'll be good to go. And of course, you can change the middle part for your police officers or firemen or troopers or sheriff department or whatever you want to do. I appreciate you watching this whole event that we did. I hope you learned something that will make you better at what you're doing in your products. And I ask that you subscribe below and also like us. It doesn't cost you anything to do that, but it sure helps us out a lot. Appreciate you being here. Have a great day.